How you guys doing?
Yeah, quite okay. Saturday evening, weekend.
Saturday night, yes. Quite late for me as well.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're going to get there.
Yeah, I think so. We'll start within few minutes. I have just few announcement and yeah, then I think stage is yours as usual.
Okay, let me just check my stuff here.
Yeah. Maybe let me make you presenter. First of all, 1 minute. Can you try to share your screen and see that if all okay?
Second. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Nice background.
That's the Microsoft Bing. And I
Oh.
think they refresh every day. And it's nice to have those to bring some different image.
Oh, okay.
It's not always the same. Every day is something different. It's like Microsoft Bing.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty from start. Microsoft Bing. Yeah.
Yeah. I have Azure Portal and I have VS Code.
Yeah.
I have
Awesome.
Docker Desktop. I have a lot of things here to show.
Nice, cool. Okay, so yeah, let me start. Let me share my screen and a few things. Maybe I'll just introduce and then yeah, yes, we can start with it. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining today. Very good evening. We are Asian Cloud Community Singapore. We are a part of Microsoft Tech community. There are a lot of communities under Asian Cloud communities. You can see there are a couple of countries, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka, and many more of them. So we organize Azure meetups, .NET, ML community meetups, Power Apps. So if you are interested any one of them, there is a link on meetup.com MSSGUG. So all the upcoming meetups will be announced there. And we have also our YouTube channel. So as usual, whenever we do any sessions, we record the sessions and that session will be available on our YouTube channel, which is MSSGUG. You can type same on the YouTube. And we also have a one Facebook group that's MS Technical Communities SG. More than 7,500 members are there registered on that. So you can register and you can see all the updates. If you have any queries or any questions, you can reach out to the community members. There are a lot of people, MVPs on that platform, so you can directly connect with them, and it's really great for the community also to, if you have any issues, so everybody is learning from there. And this, we are the few organizers for Azure events. Nilesh, myself, and Saktish and Senthimil. Nilesh is also in the meeting. And these are the links for our Facebook group, meetup groups, and YouTube group. So if you are interested, either present or you want to organize a session, please welcome. So you can connect any one of us, and we can help you to connect in our community or maybe some other community if you want to speak. And few of the sessions we have done in past, so those are available on our YouTube channel playlist, Azure Singapore sessions. And you can see the Jog session is also there. He have done one session in past that was on the cloud native environments with Azure Kubernetes Services, which is available on our YouTube channel. So yeah. And today's session is from dev machine to Azure using Docker, VS Code, and GitHub and with AKS. So in today's session, I'm going to explain about how you can do the development and then you can deploy with the help of Docker, desktop, VS Code, and to the AKS. And about Jog is a Microsoft Cloud Advocate, and he recently got selected for Docker Captain. I think he's one of the few Docker captains uh, around the world, which is really great. I was quite excited when I see this, and yeah, and he have over 20, means more than 20 years of experience. He started from 2024. He started his journey with the Kubernetes, and he's quite expertise in that. So yeah, today he's going to show really good stuff. And he has running a very big community in Australia, which is Azure Tar. So you can see the YouTube channel Azure Tar. There are very good sessions on Docker Kubernetes containers. So if you are interested any one of them, you can visit you can subscribe their channel, and you can see the YouTube videos there. It's really good stuff. And if you are interested to speak or maybe connect with Jog, so yeah, he's available quite active on Twitter, and you can connect with him. He also run a community on the LinkedIn with the same name, with the Azure Tar, and one Discord group. So you can join and you can get connected with. And related to today's session, we have done few sessions in past, which is more on the Kubernetes, Docker, and you can see one of the organizer, Nilesh, he speaks more on the Kubernetes, Docker. So he have done really good sessions in that, and he have also YouTube channel, so you can visit. He's running nowadays a Docker Ninja series, so which is really great. So you can see and connect with him. Related to we have done also some few chartbuster sessions with the like John Selvey, Donald Brown, and few of the big speakers. So you can see in our playlist Azure Singapore sessions there. This is our YouTube channel, MVP YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed that, please do. You can scan the QR code there, and either you can just search on the Azure Office and Data Community videos, or maybe MVP Singapore YouTube channel. So all the session recordings are available there, and even today also. And before hand over to Jog, there is few reminders. Please keep yourself on mute. And if you have any questions, please use the raise hand feature. And this session is being recorded. If you like the session, please help to spread the words on social media. I will not take much time after this. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Jog. I think it's over to you. You can.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for the introduction. I have something new here. I decided to not have slides. It means that we're going to have a conversation. That's quite different from what people are used to. And but the idea is what people want to know about development on local development with Kubernetes, with containers. And there are so many different ways to do that, different tools, different technologies. And just because I became Docker Captain, I'm bringing Docker, desktop. And thanks for Docker for bringing me that recognition. It's something that, a few people in the world have. It's very, nice to be Docker Captain and just to open the doors to help more people than I'm helping so far. And yeah, thanks for the congratulations on Twitter and everything. But like you said, I'm a cloud developer advocate for Microsoft on the cloud native and container space. And what I see in development is people get, it's complicated to get started with containers. You're not used to know, you don't know how the steps that you need to start with containers. And we have this Docker desktop, we have Visual Studio Code, we have, all the clouds as well. If we're going to Azure, we have like Azure Kubernetes Services, as you're going to see here. And you get confused where you get started. And I think Docker created some time ago something called dev environments on Docker desktop. That's quite similar to what we have in Visual Studio Code. That's called dev containers. And that's one way that you can start doing development. What I did here was I opened my Visual Studio Code. I create like a simple .NET application, say called .NET demo. That, by the way, you can create everything from command line. Like these days, if you come here on the terminal, Don't know if you guys can see my terminal there from there. But in .NET development, if you install .NET, I have .NET 6 here. You have .NET, and you also can see all the SDKs I have installed on my machine. Right. I have .NET 6 installed there. And one way to start with .NET is just create like a folder. I'm going to create another folder just to show you. Let me go back here and let's just say .NET demo 2. Then go inside that, I can do .NET new. Then they're going to use the name of the folder, and you just give the template that you want to use, web app. I want to create a web app, and only that is enough for you to create all the structure of the project. And that's exactly what I did on this .NET version here. And only doing that, you pretty much have your development environment that you can get started. Just to prove that if I open another window, another VS Code window, I don't want to use the same one. I can open another one. By the way, what I need to get started on Windows development on .NET, what tools I have. I just show you VS Code installed, another thing called Windows Subsystem for Linux. Then I can connect to WSL. If you don't know WSL, that's exactly what it is Linux on Windows. I have full Linux running on Windows. It's called Windows Subsystem for Linux. I have VS Code. I just want to now open my folder. The folder that I created is inside source, GitHub, George, and then .NET 2. Now I have two VS Code open. One for the version that I created before, and the one that I'm creating right now with you. Okay, now I have a .NET here. I can open a terminal. That's Linux, by the way. I'm on Windows, but that's Linux. It's full Linux. That's full Linux. And then they're going to, one thing you can do in .NET also is .NET new, I think it's git ignore. You have git ignore file as well. If I want to push this code to GitHub, I think I can go here, publish to GitHub. I can go and publish as a public repository on my GitHub, and should be now on my .NET demo 2. There you go. I just pushed that. And simple like that, I create a new project, I push to GitHub, I have all connected there, my codes here. And if I want to debug that, I click here, debug, I click automatically debug, I say C#, and then just like that, I'm debugging a .NET application on VS Code, and the code is on GitHub. There you go. Beautiful. A few people don't know how to start with VS Code and .NET. That's how I do it. And you create your code. You can stop the debug. You can go back here. If I go on my .NET 2, what's that? This one. He asked me to create a README. I can create from here as well. I can commit the changes. And what I have to do, if I go back on my code, I can also just go on the source repo and just do like a pull from here. And then I have the README here. Then I have application running. What I have, from VS Code that can help me to use containers now with this application. I wanna run this application inside Docker. Okay, what I need one thing called Docker file. How can I create Docker file? And one way to create Docker file, there's one of many ways, but there is an extension on VS Code for AKS. Let's see the extension that's installed here, but it's called Developer Tools for Azure Kubernetes Services. This extension, they install something called Draft. And Draft is this open source project from Azure Draft, that helps you to exactly create the Docker file, generate a workflow, and even deploy that on AKS, on Azure Kubernetes Services using GitHub Actions. And that's the idea of this presentation, to show how to do that. And this extension can help you exactly do this thing. And go back to VS Code. How can I use this extension? I have this extension installed here already. How can I use that? You go back on your code, and then you can right-click, I think anywhere here in the code, and there is an option, run AKS DevX true. And there's an option to create your Docker file. You can create a Docker file from here. They're going to ask you the source code folder. And I think I'm going to do that one. Say that's C# version 6, import 80. That's why the application is running. And they create the Docker file for us. Even create a Docker ignore to not push some things to Git. And just like that, we have the Docker file. And with the Docker file, we can now, let me go back to my terminal. I have Docker running here. How I have Docker running? I did install Docker desktop on my machine. Once you install here close to the clock on Windows, you can have, here, you can see the Docker is running there. And that's what, you can see the containers running. You can see the Docker image. And with that installed, there's one thing we can do is like building. Okay, there is even a new build here that once I run the command to build something is Docker build. Then I give a tag. Let me use my GitHub one and say .NET demo 2. Let's give a tag, version 1, v1. And see if that's working from here. Forgot to put the dot at the end, otherwise you don't see the context, what the Docker file is. When they start building, you now can follow on Docker desktop the build that's happening there. If I click here, I don't know if you guys saw that before, but you can see the logs, and you can see all the Docker build process from the Docker desktop now. That's is on beta. You have to enable that on Docker desktop. I can show how to do that quickly, but let's finish first. And you can see everything that's happening on the build. Yeah, that's done already. But now we have a log of the Docker build. Anyone saw that before? Anyone knew that? Or anyone tried that before? I don't think anyone have tried that before yet, but there you go. You now have the whole history and source and information about your build, how long it's taking, everything. If you want to enable these, you have to go on the settings. There's a new option called Features in development, beta, have to enable containerd for store image, or enable the external build view here. If you enable the build view, you can see that one. And on this presentation, I'm also using containerd from my container storage. I don't think you need to use that. But if you want to see that tab builds, you have to enable that. And there you go, you have these now. And what happened? Now I have my Docker image. If I do Docker image, there's a lot of things here, but you're going to see my Georgia Artero somewhere. There you go. That's the version 1. Right there. Probably here will be easy to show, but yeah, .NET, sure. And that's an image that I did on my Docker Hub. And if I want to push that for Docker Hub, I can do Docker push. And that's on my Docker Hub. If you go on my Docker Hub, you're going to see that image there. But I also have a container registry on Azure. It's called Azure Container Registry. And if I want to connect on this Azure Container Registry here, let me just get the name of these container registries, that one here. Let's say I have a logged in already on this container registry. And then one thing I have to do to push my container to my container registry is, let's push it to Docker Hub first. It's going to take a long time here, but let me see if it's finishing. Yeah, there you go. I have to tag this .NET demo 2 and V1. Or just say V1 is fine. And when doing that, I can now just push also to my Azure Container Registry. And what this image is going to show on Azure Container Registry repositories. I have one for .NET demo already, and I should have another one now for .NET demo 2 coming. So the first one. I have here the version that I just created, .NET 2, and the V1 is already there. That's normally how I do development. Okay, and that's the one, and that's the .NET 2. And with that image of container registry, I can now deploy this. There are two ways that you can try to deploy. If you go back to the browser, as I was showing the draft one and the draft extension, let me show the the extension is that. Yep, draft here. The draft extension, you can do a few commands. Like you could do draft directly on the VS Code. If I go draft is not installed on this one yet. I think it's probably so on this one. I don't think they're exposing directly the draft here. You have to install the draft if you want. If you want to use draft directly without the extension, I think you have to install yourself. You have to install the draft extension yourself. Okay, it's just using that on the extension. But on the Azure extension, there is an option that you can now right-click. You can, let's go. Yeah, DevX2. I can I can create a deployment. I can tell the folder of the deployment. I say what I only use for deployment on Kubernetes. One of the options is like using manifests, like YAML files for Kubernetes to deploy. Another one using Helm or Customize, different engines to create the manifest for you, like a template engine to create the Kubernetes YAML files to deploy the application there. We normally I use Helm on the other one. Let's just use a normal manifest on this one. I think spot 80. New namespace. Let's create a new namespace for that. I want to get from Azure Container Registry. That's my Azure Container Registry that I just pushed the image. See, the extension is integrated with Azure. That helps a lot to deploy your application. Okay, even tell the tag that I'm going to use. And the deployment manifest and service are now created for us. They create these manifests, and they even tell us the next step is to use the draft ingress. Let me show. I don't think I have a key vault here to do that. I think I have a key vault. Yeah, I don't have a key vault to do that from here, but with the manifest file, okay, the way that I can show now today, otherwise I'm going to stop because I don't have, is to come on the Azure portal. On the cluster that you want to deploy that, I have a Azure Kubernetes Service called AKS Azure. And we now have a new tab called, let me open this one as well, but there's a new tab called Automated Deployments in preview. Okay, you can use the extension, or you can come here and you can deploy the application. Because we have to create a Docker file from the extension, you don't have to create this from here. Okay, you can go straight to. Let me open this one. I can show that the difference there. But let's just, before I do this, let me just. Sorry for that, but before I do that, I don't think I have pushed my code. Just have to make sure that all my code is on GitHub. And Docker file. I'm just pushing my code to GitHub. Remember, using here Docker Desktop, VS Code, GitHub Actions. What I did, I created a Docker file from here, but I don't have, I have the manifest to deploy, but I don't have the action yet. And I want to create the actions from here because I want to show both things. That you can create the actions from the Azure portal as well with these automated deployments. And then if I say .NET demo 2 for the workflow name, that's the GitHub actions that are going to be created. And then I go on my repositories. I should have one called .NET demo 2, the main branch. And from here, like you can see, on the first option that I selected there to create these, they're going to create a Docker file and Docker ignore the same way that the extension did for us. Okay, the same way they're going to do it. And the better thing here, they have more options. So the .NET 7 is already here. It wasn't there before, but .NET 7 here. And I can say .NET 6. And I think it'll be port 80. And I can select the same way that I did there. I can select my container registry and just define a name for my extension or for my image. So .NET demo 2. Okay, and the same thing I did from the extension, I can do from here. And when you do next, they're going to now ask for the deployment files. And the service, that's like the ingress controller, they're going to do the service to have ingress there. Then you review and you deploy. Azure Portal is not able to deploy everything for us. What they do, they create a pull request for your Git repository. It's like automating the pull request that you should be able to create yourself. And they created this pull request for us. And let me go back on the. There you go. Once that pull request is created, there is a pull request. You go directly to the pull request that they created for us because we gave authorization. Okay, on my Azure portal, I had gave authorization before. That's why they haven't asked me to log in on GitHub. But when you do that first time, they're going to ask you to create this and to log in on Azure on GitHub, and then you're going to give authorization for GitHub to access, for us to have access from GitHub to create, and also to create the pull request. If I mesh this, you can see that what they did, they create a Docker file. Even if I have created that before, they created again for us. Okay, they created again. And means that all these things I had created before on the Azure extension. The only thing I haven't done on the VS Code extension was this file here. I'm just showing that everything now can be done by the Azure portal. The same thing that we did from the extension, right-clicking on the code and going on the extension, the VEX extension here. That also can be done by the Azure portal that create a pull request. Once I mesh this pull request, the GitHub actions now will be triggered because we mesh the code. Now we have a workflow. There's a GitHub action there. That's pretty much how we're going to deploy. And if you go on the action, hopefully that's going to deploy. Fingers crossed. It's building the image first and then deploying. Any question? I have to wait a little bit for this one. In the meantime, I want to show something very nice. I don't know if you guys use, but on the Docker desktop now, we have something called extensions. And I have installed like a 3 extensions here. One of that is it's called Headlamp. And Headlamp is you can open Headlamp from here. Say AKS Azure. I can access my cluster on Azure. And I can see my workloads there, pods running. And if you want to open these directly on my browser, like I did here, just go in containers. And you're going to see that Headlamp is running here. I can just click there and open that directly from the browser. If you don't see those containers running, it's because you have to go on configurations, extensions, enable these show doc extension system containers. Because the container could run as a separate container on Docker. And that's the way that you can show that container there. And then you make sure that you know how to open on the external browser, like I just did here. And that's why I have Headlamp also running here. And I go back for my pull request. There you go. Looks like that's working. Deployment. How can I double check that? I'm connected here on AKS Azure. I go workloads, pods, and I should see .NET 2 running. There you go. It's running here. I'm not sure if I have a service. I should have external IP number. There you go. On AKS, you can create like a load balancer and deploy. There you go. That's our demo that we just created from scratch, deployed on AKS from the .NET new to AKS. In how long? Maybe 30 minutes. We went from scratch to AKS. How you guys think? Any question? Is that hard to do it or make sense? I wanna see people asking something or what's the next step, because
Hey guys, if you have any questions, you can ask directly.
I'm going to pull my code here just to make sure that, yep, you can see now GitHub Actions, everything here. And people asking how they build. The GitHub Actions that I created, you can bring the question anytime, okay? I'm just going to explain the Docker build, the GitHub Actions. And we just built the image, and we're using Azure Container Registry to build. You know, the Azure Container Registry, we're able to build from the cloud. And they do ACR, Azure Container Registry build. And the image was built inside Azure, inside the cloud. Going back there just to prove that. And there you go. Let's go. That's the container registry that we have. That's the repositories, .NET 2, V1. And that was done before for us. Then, and go back here. Once that's built, the deployment is a GitHub action. There's a step that you can use. And they set the context and they run, because using just like the manifest, not using Helm, we're just going to do a deploy. It's just like a kubectl apply, and we apply that. On the other demo that I was doing, what I did was on the demo one that I did before, I use Helm. Helm creates this template. Helm, we call Helm chart. And then the GitHub action is a little bit different. I have to go back here and just pull the latest version. And then yeah, you can see that it'll be similar. It'll be a build image on ACR, and the deployment will be using Helm, called Helm upgrade, and they deploy from that. And yeah, one thing interesting here is that they use the GitHub, you know, the SHA, the hash for the GitHub as a name of the container image. That's why on this demo one, if I go back on container registry, like .NET demo, when they create the image, they use this tag, the digest, as the tag for the image. And this way, every time that you run the Docker deploy, it will be a different digest to be deployed. And this way, it'll be complete automated. It'll be always the latest version, and the client create the version for us. Not the same thing is on the .NET 2 that I just created, a little bit different. I'm just trying to show different options that you can have. And what more? Go back to here. If you guys want to create an extension, that's a nice thing to do. There's a lot of space to create extension. Now that I'm Docker I'm myself Docker captain. I'm happy to help anyone to develop extension for Docker Desktop. I'm developing something at the moment, and hopefully I can be showing that at DockerCon if anyone's going to DockerCon in LA next month, or not next month, in October, in 2 months' time. And as you can see, there's a lot of extensions available. And I'm trying to bring something from Azure to integrate on those extensions as well. If anyone want to help, just ping me. I probably need a lot of help to try to bring even the VS Code extension to run from here as well. But the last thing I want to show, okay, that's a bonus for this presentation today, is the dev environment from the Docker Desktop. Docker Desktop allows us to, using like a Docker Compose file, okay, we are able to create what they call these dev environments. And I have just got one demo from Docker. You can find this demo on the Docker samples, github.com/Docker samples. Docker samples, that's the official Docker samples. If you search for language C# like I did, you can see there is like 3 applications. I just got one called Student Record Management. I just did a fork of this one, and from this fork, I create a new environment here. Very simple. You just have to copy from there. Let me copy from this one, maybe. Yeah, you can copy here. You can local copy the Git repository for your demo. How about we do it for the Docker.NET 2? This one. Let's copy this one. We go back on Docker Desktop. I haven't tried this way because I don't have Docker Compose on this one. Let's see if we're going to create. I was assuming that we need a Docker Compose file to create this. I'm just giving a go now because we don't have a Docker Compose file. We only have a Docker file. Let me see if he's going to create the Docker file for us, Docker Compose file for us or not. And they're going to prepare this environment. How that works? They get the source code from Git. They create a volume on Docker with your code, and then they create a container. There you go. They're going to migrating Docker Compose, no Docker Compose detected, unsupported language. C# is not a supported language yet, but they're going to create the container for us. And there you go. And once that's created, you can open on VS Code. I now have a volume. How I prove that you have a volume. There's a nice extension for volume, but there is one extension. There is a option to see the extensions or to see the volumes. And there you go. They created a volume with our code inside. And they create a dev environment. And this dev environment, there's a container now running our application. There you go. Then from the dev environment, you can just open on VS Code. And how they open on VS Code? Very similar with like dev containers. Because VS Code, you can open VS Code inside a container. It's called dev containers. It's part of this extension here. It's called dev containers. And I recommend if you never use dev containers to start using because there you go, that's one here, dev containers. Is one of the main options that we have to run VS Code remotely. You can run on code space, or you can use dev containers. And dev environments from Docker desktop is using dev containers. And now I'm connected, my VS Code is connected on my .NET 2 running from the Docker desktop that I just created. It's the same code, it's the same thing. If I go in debug, I can enable debug from here, C#. I think set debug, C#, this one. They're going to run .NET restore. Show which port they're going to. There's a bug there in this application. Maybe that's why I wasn't. Go there. Oh yeah, I can stop this one, stop this one. Yeah, I don't think that's the debug here, but that's my application. Let me stop this one. Well, let me show you the one that's working from the Docker desktop that I created before. This one that I used before was exactly the one that I cloned from the Docker demos. What is that? This one here. Student record management. Let me open this one. Then I have web app. Same way. That one. There you go. That's this application that I just opened that's running here. It's not in debug yet, I think. Let me just start the debug. There you go. Yeah, if you get something like that, you can also just come here and on the containers, or even on the dev environment, is a web app. You can stop and you can start again. You can use one. You can ask to reload because I stopped the container and open again. I just want to show the magic of Docker Compose. If you never use Docker Compose, another thing that I recommend. So this application, you have a Docker Compose file. And this Docker Compose file, that's why on the Docker desktop, you have 3 containers. Let me close this one. We have the web application, you have the database, and you have also a third container that's like a database administrator. And that's my Docker Compose file. I have a database, adminer, and application. Application is running on port 5000. And if you go there, you can You can open that. Let me just close this. Set port label. Stop port forwarding. Yeah. Normally the port forward is done. You can add. There you go. There you go. Now it's working. That's the application running from there, and this is my name from the database. How I know that's from the database? That's the database administration application that we have here. That's the second one. This Adimana. I'm also can open this one. Okay. How I know that's running. I'm going to open here just to show you as well and reload that one. Then I have 3 containers. I want to just show that this admin for the database is also running here on this one. And that's my database. It's just restarting the container. It's probably a different port number now. It's probably a different port number. There we go. 88, you know. Well, I think you have to. Admana 880. Not run yet. Not run yet. Give me a second. More. It's open too many things at once. The environment. You can also stop the whole environment. That's one way. If it's not working for some reason, you can stop the whole environment. And by the way, that's how you save resource. Like I don't want to work with this environment anymore. I can just stop. I don't have to delete. So I have 2 environments. I can close this one and can just start this environment specifically. Once that's running, I can see the containers running from here. Running. There you go. Now I can connect to my Postgre database. My DB is a database. It's not George. There you go. I'm inside the database now. Don't think this one is going to be running like that because I'm not exposing the port. But I can go my environment. Let me try to finish that. Go on my web application. I want to show debugging. Okay. I have one table on this Postgres database called students, where I had it. Yes, not very friendly at the moment. Database, stop. Port number. I have one just one table with one entry called Jorge Arteiro. And I have my application running here. Okay. That I hope I can show that debugging. It should open the debugging. There you go. See, that's my application running in debug mode. Let me try to show the debug mode now. These. Let's get this one. Let's put a big point here. There you go. Now you are in debug mode. You can go. You can see what's going to be showing there. Context. Student name, Jorge Arteiro. That's what they're going to print on the screen. And I go, Jorge Arteiro is there. Well, the bug is working with the dev environment. And just to prove that this is working, let me go here on the database. I can edit. That's coming from here. Save. If I refresh, there you go. Delgado is my name is Jorge Luis Delgado Arteiro, and that's it. I'm loading from the database, and the only thing we need is a Docker Compose file where we can have a combination of like 3 applications. We have the front end, you have the database, you could have API as well. The only thing we need is a Docker Compose like we have on this demo here. That's pretty much what I have to show today. I hope this helps someone to get started with Docker, VS Code, Azure Kubernetes Services, and C#, .NET.
Thanks, George. It was really nice and interesting session. I think there are quite a number of features I have learned today. And we have few questions. And I think there is one question by Angel. Does dev environments containers only work with public repository?
No, I'm using public repository here, but I'm pretty sure that works with private repositories. I haven't tried much yet, but I think works. Anyone had problem? If someone had problem, let me know. I try to discuss with the Docker team. I never. I think at the beginning maybe some people had trouble with private repositories, but I don't think that's happening anymore. Is that a question or you had problem? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's a question. Yeah.
Okay. Now it should work with both.
Yeah, and I think you can speak. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you are not able to do it, let me know. But I think it's a good question. I'm going to try myself later to make sure that's working with private repository.
Angel, we are not able to hear you. Maybe you can unmute and can ask directly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I asked because I was exploring Docker the other day and I found dev environments, which I thought was quite cool. And I usually have this like problem at work where when I'm reviewing PRs and I want to like test it on my own, like test the changes in the PR on my own machine. So I thought that dev environments would be useful, but when I tried it out, like I think there were some problems with permissions because it was within like my company's Bitbucket. So yeah, I was just wondering about that.
No, yeah, it should be, I think when you create the environment here, if you select like a private repository, they're going to ask you to log in for some, I haven't tried yet, but yeah, they're probably going to ask you to log in here. And there's another option, you can use local directory as well. The only difference is like performance not going to be the same because it'll be like a bind mounting on your container. But the nice thing of local directory is that the files could be on your machine, not inside the container. And that means that if you use local directory, you could use like another IDE and maybe just to open the files. The containers don't have to be running for you to make change on the files. That's another way as well. And local directory used to be how I used to do a long time ago, before dev containers. With dev containers, that's the way that code space works and other things. But yeah, good question about this. Because the only thing they do here is a preparation. And the difference between here and the code space from GitHub is the code space running on the cloud. This thing is running locally on your machine, and also using Docker Compose. If you like Docker Compose that people are using for many, many years, you don't have to change anything. Dev containers, you have to look. I work for Microsoft. I can show here because if you go code space, you can create a new code space with options like selecting a branch, the region that you want to use, and create the code space, or even what they call, you can configure the way that you want like this code space, even like kind of extensions from the marketplace that you want to use. But they create this file called .dev container. You need this file .dev container in your Git repo to use dev container. Okay, and you can use that container locally as well if you want, but code space is on the cloud. Then that's another way. That's they're going to build all these things that you want to configure here, inside your dev containers. That's another way. It's another talk. Maybe another day we can come back and talk about this. But they're kind of trying to do the same thing. I like the way Docker Desktop is doing for local development because using Docker Compose that everyone knows about.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I have one more question. I have one question here. Like, is there any limitations with the volume with dev containers?
I don't think so. I see that's the container they create, like I was showing before, and they even tell you the containers using this volume. There's a nice extension I recommend about volumes if you want to play with volumes. This one that Docker created. That now you can get one extension. You can get one volume. Let me get the volume I was playing there. Doesn't matter. This one here, and now you have options to import or to export those volumes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's kind of a way to manage your volumes.
Yeah, that
Okay.
might be a big issue.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think there's a limitation in using volumes. I think it's better than use local directory.
Okay.
Local directory, there are limitations, not I think. Volume, the performance is better because it's Docker talking with the volume directly, kind of memory.
Okay.
And if you do local directory, there are always the performance problem, access the operating system, file system.
Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one more question. Like how to debug the AKS cluster to solve any production issues. I think that asked by Mohit. Yeah, is there any extension or anything? Yeah.
There is an extension if you go on VS Code, by the way, if anyone is in Sydney, but the engineer from Microsoft that works on this extension here is called Kubernetes extension, or there's a Kubernetes extension, but see, there are multiple extensions. There is Azure Kubernetes Service extension. There are developer tools extension. We even try to maybe combine these extensions in a feature, okay? And there is extension on Kubernetes, normal Kubernetes extension, but the AKS Kubernetes extension is this one here. What that one brings to you is like a few options that you can have about, like, you know, feature. Let me see if I can show here that. Yeah, you have to go to AKS. I don't think I have the extension installed. Oh, it is installed. It is installed. Yeah, that's the extension. If you go marketplace. By the way, I think the best way is you go. Let me just YouTube ES connection. Let me find here. Azure Friday AKS extension. Yep. We had a couple of videos about this extension on Azure Friday with Scott Hensman. And Tats is from New Zealand, by the way. If you want to guys book another session with him, maybe one day he can come here and talk about how you manage AKS, like production AKS, using this extension. And there are a couple of videos that you can watch on Azure Friday and explain exactly about this extension. I'm not going to much detail because there's a lot of content there. Yeah. But yeah, please watch these couple of videos from Azure Friday that is going to make sense. And Tats will be in Sydney next month for Kubernetes Day in Sydney. If anyone from Sydney watching, yeah, be there. That we're going to be presenting that extension on the Microsoft booth, and maybe record something and let you guys know.
Great. Yeah, we have, I think, one last question. What is the best practices for configuring and maintaining AKS for different environments and different branches? That's asked by Aman.
For different environments,
yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw this. There's one thing called, it's called Fleet. There's a new thing called Kubernetes Fleet Manager now on AKS that you can manage multiple Kubernetes classes from here. It's in preview, but it's pretty much you can even onboard existing classes. But yeah, you can manage multi-classes here. And yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Even moving, copying configurations from one class to another, cloning classes, things like that to be available here. Another nice thing on these is when you have classes across regions, you have one classes on multiple classes in multiple regions, and you want to just move the classes to one region to another, or even load balance the load from to multiple classes. If one region is down, all the traffic goes to another region. Yeah, Kubernetes Fleet Manager is another subject as well, but I recommend you guys to have a look on this thing here.
Thanks.
That's the feature of multi-cluster management on Azure.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, if you have any questions, you can ask directly to unmute and ask.
No, it's okay. It's fine. Thank you very much.
Sure, thanks. Yeah. So yeah, I think these are my questions. Thanks, George. So it's like really interesting and very intuitive sessions. So yeah, we have learned a lot. So hopefully, guys, if you have any question, you can directly unmute and ask, or maybe we'll close for today. Thanks, George.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. You see my name there, Azure. Follow the channel, then follow me for more, Docker and Azure and Kubernetes and container things. Yeah, I'm glad to let everything almost work, and
Yeah.
And it was no slides today, only showing code. I think was good. I hope everyone enjoyed. See you guys next time.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, thanks. Thanks
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a good weekend. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
See you.
good one.
Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.